Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we're going to be continuing from where we stopped the last time. If this is your first time on this page, you're welcome. Please, you would want to go watch the previous video before this one so you don't get confused of what we're doing now. So today I'm going to be showing you how I went about the sleeve and the turtleneck area. So if you're interested, please watch this video till the end, and please don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you could get notified whenever we post any tutorial. Without wasting much of your time, let's get into this. So I'm going to be cutting this on my pattern paper before going to my actual fabric to drape it out. So what I'm going to be doing first is I'm going to be marking my starting point for my sleeve. Then after that, I'm going to be taking my bicep area down. And I'm going to be going down by 5 for my bicep point. For those of you that doesn't know what a bicep is being shown on the screen right now. So after taking your bicep area, I'm going to make a straight line out of it. The next thing I'm going to do, if this was a short sleeve, I'm going to be taking, the only measurement I'll be needing is my starting point, my bicep line, and the length of my sleeve. But because this is a long sleeve, I'm going to be taking my starting point, my bicep, my elbow, and the length of my sleeve, so you don't get confused. So cutting of your long sleeve and cutting of your short sleeve, it's totally the same thing. The difference is your shorts is not going to carry the elbow line. Is just going to take the starting point, the bicep line, and the length of your sleeve. For the long sleeve, is going to be taking the starting point, bicep, the elbow, and the length of your sleeve. So that is it. I hope you understand what I did now. So that's my elbow line I just marked. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to take the length of my sleeve. And for this sleeve, I'm going to be using length 26, depending on how long you want your sleeve to be. So you can just take your own measurements and achieve what length you want to achieve. So after that, I'm going to be marking, I'm also going to mark a straight line there to indicate the length of my sleeve, just like this. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is from that starting point, I'm going to be taking 5 inch down. So I'm going to indicate that like so. Then the next thing I'm going to do is that is going to serve as our starting area. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my bicep measurements. I've shown you what a bicep is if you don't know what a bicep area is. So I'm going to be taking my bicep measurements. I'll be dividing it by 2, and my bicep is 19. Divide by 2 is going to give me 9. So I'm going to give that 1 inch or 1.5 inch sewing allowance. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to mark a straight, is to take the middle part of that, from that 5 I took down to my bicep area. I'm going to be dividing it by 2, and that is giving me 5. So dividing it by 2 is going to give me 2.5. I'm going to mark a point like this. So from there, I'm going to be making a curve, up curve and down curve, down to the bicep measurement. So that is what I'm trying to do. You can use your free hand if you want. So far, you're going to achieve that curve line. So I'm going to be achieving that curve line up, and I'm going to be achieving a curve down, a curve line down, just this way. So this is it, guys. So the next thing I'm going to do is to take my elbow measurement, and my elbow is 13. So 13 divided by 2 is going to give me 6.5. So I'm going to take 6.5, then 1.5 inch sewing allowance. just that way, and I'm going to mark it down. I'm going to come down to my length area too, and I'm going to be taking my wrist measurements and dividing it by 2, and I'm going to mark it and achieve a straight line all the way down. So I'm just trying to do everything together. For those of you that knows how to cut your basic sleeve, you should know what I'm trying to do. So after cutting it out like this, I'm going to be dripping it out on my actual fabric. So this is the Shantini lace I'm using for my sleeve. So I'm going to fold it into 4. I folded it into 2 first and folded it again. This lace can be a little bit tricky, so I did that off camera. But just note, you're going to be folding your fabric into 2 to achieve the front, to achieve the 2 sides of your sleeve. So this part, what I did on this part is I went ahead to mark 20 from the starting point. I went ahead to mark 20 from it. And what I did was I took 20-inch down the sleeve length. Then from the 20 parts, I divided it into 2 to give me that center part. Then from the center part, I separated it just like this to achieve that flay part. I didn't know my camera did not capture it, but I'm going to go about this on my next tutorial when I want to teach you on how you're going to achieve a flay sleeve. I didn't know my camera did not capture that part where I was illustrating how I got about the flay like this. So I'm going to be dripping it out, cutting it out of my actual fabric just this way. Then after that, I'm going to be taking that to my sewing machine to achieve that knife. But because this is a lace, after cutting, I'm going to be notching the beginning part so that I would know the place I'm going to start to give that sewing down my sleeve. So this is it, guys. After cutting it, this is what we're going to get. This is how it's going to look like. So that's points, the sharp points in the beginning of the lace. I'm going to notch it. That is where I said you're going to notch. So you're going to know your starting points when attaching your sleeve to the body of your dress, so you don't get confused. So this is it. This is the 2 sides of our sleeves. So I'm going to be going to my sewing machine to attach it on my dress. So this, for the turtleneck line, I'm going to be using same pattern paper before cutting on my actual fabric. So what I'll be doing is to mark a starting point. I'm going to mark a straight line because whatever we do, we normally have a starting point, so nobody will get confused. So I'm going to be marking a starting point just like this, the way you're seeing me do. So the next thing I'm going to do is to achieve a center point, and that's the center point of that pattern paper. So what I'll be doing is to take the measurement of my back dress, just the way it's shown on the screen. So after that, you're just going to mark that point. Then the next thing you're going to do is to achieve, you're going to take your back measurement all together the way I showed it on the screen, and you're going to take your front together the way I showed it on the screen. So the next thing you're going to do now, I'm going to be labeling that back and front so that you don't get confused. So I'm going to be coming up with 2-inch, depending on how high you want your turtleneck to be. I'm going to be coming up with 2-inch, and I'm going to be doing same thing at the other back area. I'm going to be coming up with 2-inch. So the next thing I'm going to do is from that point, I don't want this to be a straight line, so I'm going to be making a curve down, and I'm going to be making a curve up. You can use your free hand. At this point, my marker is really disturbing me, but I hope you're seeing what I'm doing. I hope you understand what I'm doing, because I don't want it to have a straight line. So I'm going to be curving that from the other front end to the other back end. So the next thing I'm going to do it again is to use my ruler to achieve a line. And I just placed my ruler and I used my hand to achieve a curved line, not a straight line. You can make yours a straight line, but I want mine to be a curved line so that it will have that sharp dip on the neck area. So after that, we are done. We're almost done. So this is it, guys. You can use your you can use a straight line, you can use a curved line, just the way I'm doing. But when cutting this, I'm going to make sure I achieve that curved line, which my marker refused to give me. So watch closely, guys. I'm just trying to cut out the patterns I just made now. So as you can see, I'm going in a little into my actual line, just going in a little, and I'm going to be achieving that curve. As you can see, I have a little slant of a curve in this pattern. So I'm just trying to cut out that excess on that fabric so it doesn't get you confused. So this is what it looks like after cutting this. As you can see, it's giving me a curved part down and a curved part up. Yeah. So what I'm doing next is to drip it out from my actual fabric. So I'm going to be folding it into two down, and I'm going to be folding it another way by the side, just like this. So the down part is going to be closed while the upper part is going to be open. I don't know if you understand. So I'm going to place my pattern paper on it just like this to the end of the fabric, the part where it's closed. And I'm going to be using my scissors to cut that out. So after cutting, I'm going to be achieving all the, from the back to the front line. I'm going to be achieving a straight fabric. You're going to see that when I'm done cutting. So I'm just trying to cut out the excess on that and by the side. So this is how it's going to look like. I'm going to be having a straight line just like this. So I'll be folding it into two. I'm going to take it to my sewing machine and attach it to my dress. If you've come to this extent, please, and you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post any new tutorial. Please, I would like to know what you think about this dress down the comment section. Don't forget to like and share this video. See you on my next one. Bye.